not interested on all the boobies that come up.
Crazy.
Right? I want you to clean up your feed, mute all the girl stories, unfollow all these fucking whores, and don't ever fucking get an OnlyFans. Like, get a real legitimate girl. And until then, like, I don't know, fucking do whatever you need to do, jerk off, but don't fucking just go consume all this OnlyFans content and normalize it.
See, I advise everyone that I work with to not jerk off. Like, I hate porn. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Basani Podcast. I have a very special guest today. I got my boy Wade in the house. Wade is a fitness coach and a coach in general for mindset development. But Wade, I want you to explain what you do, because what you do, looked at all your stuff. You kind of operate in a lot of different areas. And anybody that does like mindset, I think that there's different layers of it. Like, there's different people that, like, there's mindset in relationships, there's mindset in business, there's mindset in coaching itself. So can you break down what you do for people?
Yeah, thanks for having me, first off.
Of course.
And I think mindset is the foundation of everything that we do. Every outcome that somebody can achieve in their life is based on a thought that they have and then what they decide to do with that thought. So once we become aware of how we process our thoughts, and once we can re-engineer the way that we react to those thoughts, we can become successful in each area. So the way that I utilize mindset is as a foundation to be able to improve in all areas of life. So utilizing mindset to improve one's health, to improve one's physique, their relationships, their spirituality, and their money. And as a result of having basic daily non-negotiables, I believe that somebody can build their mindset through actually taking consistent, repeated action on things that they should do, that they make promises to do, but may or may not want to do each morning, right? Consistently doing the things that we don't want to do at the same time in the same order each day will strengthen our mindset. And this really just blossoms success in every single area.
Awesome, man. I love it. And I want to ask this question. What makes you qualified to teach this kind of stuff? I know you have a crazy story. I want you to kind of go into that.
Yeah. So, I love this too, because a lot of people have developed a mindset in business. And I did. I certainly, what I realized early on when I started to scale companies was that I had the business acumen to be able to scale these companies. I understood sales. I understood marketing. I had a growth mindset. I was always open-minded when I started operating businesses, but I didn't have the emotional intelligence that I needed to be able to manage employees. I very quickly found out that I wasn't the greatest leader, that I didn't know how to engender trust, that I didn't know how to lead from the front, even though I thought that I did, even though I was a quarterback growing up, and one might look from the outside and say, wow, this is a great leader. I had a lot that I needed to work on. And so by working with a mentor each and every day on my mindset to improve my ability to lead people, to become more aware of my emotions, to make decisions out of logic, to create structures and systems within the business that helped me not act out and make decisions that I regretted. This was one of the key ways that I built my mindset. Now, before that, 6 years ago, I found myself at complete rock bottom, right? I was addicted to drugs. I had just gotten drugged and robbed. I lost my watch, my jewelry, my chains, all my shit, and I woke up on my back. And this is after a long history of drug addiction and alcohol abuse. And I mean, dude, I've had a fucking myriad of issues judicially. So after all this, I finally wake up on my back and I just felt empty. I really felt like I had so far underachieved my skill and ability in life that I needed to make some changes. And so at that moment, I decided to get sober, and I went into Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, people confuse what Alcoholics Anonymous is. People think, oh, it's a program for people to stop drinking. It's actually a way to change someone's mindset, to have an entire psychic change and develop a relationship with God so that they no longer need drugs and alcohol.
Do they kind of focus on religion, or is it like
God, spirituality?
Is it spiritual?
Yeah.
Are there different layers? So, sorry to ask, is there Alcoholics Anonymous that is just very like science-based, like, hey, no religion, or is it just strictly like religion and God?
All AA is based on the premise that you need to develop a relationship with something greater than yourself.
So, yeah, okay.
They will not define your God for you. It doesn't matter what religion you follow. Mm-hmm. You don't need religion or to be religiously based in order to develop a relationship with God in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, the way that they describe it, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't actually develop my relationship with God today through church. I go to church now, and I'm so grateful that I have VU Church here and Pastor Rich, and I've been able to develop an even stronger relationship. But early on, it was through the program of AA. And when you get into AA, you get a sponsor, and this sponsor helps you go through these 12 steps. And these 12 steps are basically saying, I surrender. I need a power greater than myself to help me. I need to clear out all of my thinking and all of my past behavior. So you go through and do all this stuff with a sponsor, reading out of a book week by week. And at the end, the goal is to consistently seek God each and every day through prayer and meditation and help other alcoholics. And as a result of doing this work continuously, you have a reprieve from drugs and alcohol. But the whole point is not like, hey, let's figure out and finagle some way to maybe replace drugs and alcohol with Snickers or some other bullshit.
Yeah.
It's we need to develop a relationship with God. Now, this gives you a foundation from which to solve all problems for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Outside of the Bible, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is the greatest program of personal discovery or recovery you could ever have. It is literally personal development 101. Because now any problem that I ever have, whether it's food or laziness or porn or whatever it is, I know the framework from which I need to be able to solve that problem. I need to reach out to another alcoholic, talk to somebody about my problem, and then take the necessary steps each and every day. And if I drift from God, then of course a lot of this hedonism and bullshit's going to come into my life. But now that I have this foundation, I can consistently solve each and every problem.
Let me ask you this. So how did you get into drug use? Like I always like to ask people, like, where did it start? High school, middle school?
Yeah, so when right after freshman year, and it was the summer after freshman year in high school. So I was 13 because I was young for my grade. So very first party I ever went to, smoked weed, ate some mushrooms, and drank all in the same night. That was my
you just went for it.
Bro, I just went all for it.
Yeah.
I remember I'm sitting there and I'm eating a bowl of Crispix, this cereal, because I couldn't find anything else, and they didn't have any milk, so I poured salsa into the cereal, and I was just sitting there on the counter. I could hardly even see the bowl. I was so fucked up on everything, and my buddy came up to me. He's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And I just remember waking up the next morning feeling like pretty hungover, and I was like, man, I've arrived. This is amazing. You know, I also was varsity football and hockey when I was a freshman, so you know, I was always with the older kids, and that's how I got introduced. I really fell in love with smoking weed. I smoked weed pretty much every day for the rest of my life until age of 31. And then, you know, when I got to prep school, the girls were doing Adderall in the morning and Coke before class. So I got introduced to some of the harder
Dude,
stuff.
a lot of girls, you know, when I was growing up, I always thought girls were like, never did drugs. It was always the guys, like they were always in the alleys smoking cigars, doing it. But a lot of women do drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of women pop pills, and they do, like, honestly, like when I don't go out here that much, like in Miami, like I really don't step out. And I think I probably should to some degree to like meet people. But even when I go out, I don't drink or anything like that.
Nice.
But I meet a lot of girls, and I don't know what it is about me. They ask me for drugs. Like they're like, hey, do you have a bump? You have this? I'm like, do I look like the drug dealer affiliate shit? And you know what? Also, another thing is, some girls know me for my platform, for what I do. They're like, hey, I've seen you on TikTok. I've seen you here. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, and then they start asking me for drugs. I'm like, do you not know what I talk about on there? Like, but so you got started with weed. Weed is like, I think a lot of people start there.
Yeah.
I think alcohol is the worst drug, honestly, personally.
Me too.
Because
100%.
it's not necessarily the worst for you in a health-based focus, like compared to like harder drugs like heroin and like really like cocaine and all that. But it opens up a lot of things. It kills your inhibition, and it's so normalized. Like people like shame you for, dude, are you not going to drink, dude? Like, come on, it's my birthday. Like they make you feel bad. Dude, so you got started there, and then how did it evolve?
So went to prep school, a bunch of Coke, acid, you know, all that shit. Then I got introduced to Xanax, and Xanax seemed pretty harmless at the time.
I think Xanax is the worst.
The worst. Alcohol,
yes.
To me, alcohol and Xanax are the very worst.
Because they're the two that you can die from.
Seriously. Genuinely,
like withdrawal. It's funny. I know you know this stuff.
Horrible.
Probably better than me, but
yeah, those two are the worst. So I get kicked out of prep school. I come back home, and then I start selling crack because I lost my scholarships to play hockey. I was no longer at Phillips Exeter, which is the most prestigious academic, high school in the nation. I just felt like a complete loser. Start selling crack. Then I go to college, continue on with the drugs, pretty much all the drugs, whatever, Molly, a little bit of ketamine, all the shit that I get introduced to in college. I get kicked out of there, and I come back, and I start to try and clean up my life. I get my third DUI. I get my third DUI and my third assault charge, and I'm 22. And the court says, hey, you got to stop drinking. Like, you're court mandated. You got to go to AA, and you're going to lose your license for 18 months. So I clean up my act a little bit. I get my paper signed for 6 months, and I stay clean, but I'm still smoking weed. And then I stop that 6 months, and I go back to, like, eating a little bit of Xanax, doing my thing, and I'm playing poker with my buddies. And this one poker game, one of our buddies who was a dealer said, I don't have the $10 for the game, but I'll take all y'all $70 and I'll put a bean in the middle, which was an Oxycontin 80. And he's like, is everyone cool playing for this? And I had no idea what it was at the time. And so I asked my buddy, I'm like, hey, dude, what is this shit? And he was like, it's like a Percocet or a Vicodin, but a little bit stronger. I'm like, all right. So I win the game. I go to do the thing, and they're like, no, bro, just a very little bit. And Oxycontin 80 is a lot. Like, you don't do the whole thing. So I do a little bit, bro. I was immediately, that shit was the best feeling in the world. And then from there, it just was a slippery slope, bro. I went from doing it like every other day, every couple days, to every day. I'm doing a little quarter of this thing every day. And within a year, I'm doing 5 Oxycontin 80s a day. And we're pushing major weight, bro, every
There's a lot of people that actually, I feel like it's gotten better in terms of how many people are addicted, but this used to be one of the most prescribed drugs of all time. Like, it was people would prescribe this all the time.
Big time. Yeah, it was luckily they changed the formulation, you know, and I got so lucky because after a year and a half I went to rehab, and when I got out of rehab they stopped making the pill form in the way that it was. They changed it to like an Opana, like a gel form where you couldn't get the same result. And then they have oxycodone and Klonopin and all this other shit now, but the true Oxycontin 80s, there was nothing like it. I mean, dude, I've tried every painkiller out there, heroin, like everything, and there was no drug ever in the existence of the world as what Oxycontin was.
And then that's kind of fast forward. This is where it comes full circle. You got robbed. You were basically on your back. You were feeling empty. And that's where you called your parents. Hey, I'm addicted to Oxycodone. I need to go to rehab.
So
is that where that happened?
So this was when I was 22 until like 24. So this like year and a half. And I called them at whatever, 23, 24. And I was like, hey, I'm addicted to Oxycontin. I need help. So I went to rehab. And then after that, I didn't do painkillers again. But I just basically had this weed and Xanax sort of like slight haze for the next 6 years. Didn't drink, didn't do the hard drugs. I was okay with my life, right? Like I became a financial advisor, start making $500K a year. And in Vermont, like that was a decent amount of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I would come down to Miami and just party. And so my whole thing was like, okay, weed and Xans, no drinks, at least I'm good. And then when I come to Miami, as much Molly and ketamine as I can possibly get.
Okay.
And that was it. That was like my whole thing. I was constantly just traveling with Molly and ketamine. I thought it was like a perfect combination. And I lived this shitty, miserable existence. I didn't grow, you know, nothing, just whatever. Well, I finally had the bright idea in 2019, hey, I'm going to move down to Miami. And everyone says, bro, you're going to get sucked in. You have a very addictive personality. Don't do it. And I was like, look, I need to get out of Vermont. I want some opportunity. I moved down, and within 3 months, I'm out every single night at the clubs, partying. I started doing coke, and I hate coke, bro. I'm not a coke user. I sold coke, but I never liked it, and I'm not drinking. So you know the feeling when you're doing coke and not drinking.
I hate coke.
It's like, bro, I'm clammy. I can't, whatever. No amount of weed and Xanax can bring me back to the place I need to be to like stay up and not feel like shit. So this one weekend, I'm with my buddy, his girlfriend, all her friends, and we're at like a couple pool parties back to back and a couple clubs. And something happened each night. He got in a fight with his girlfriend. One of the other girls like got hurt, and they left me with 5 girls repeatedly, like whatever club we were at. Then the next day I'm at SLS pool party, and I just remember sitting there like me and 5 girls, and I'm like clammed out of my mind, fucking couldn't get a boner if I tried, right? Because I'm on so much coke.
Coke sucks with that.
And dude, these girls are all over me, and I'm just like, fuck, my only chance at anything right now is drinking. And so after 7 years of not drinking, this girl pours me a pineapple and vodka, and I drink it. And for the next 3 days, I just get fucking wasted.
Yeah.
And at the end of that bender, I'm fucking drunk as shit. Some girl drugs me, robs me for all my shit. I wake up on my back. And it was at that moment that I called my dad, and I was like, yo, Dad, like I just got robbed. My watch just got stolen, whatever. And he's like, I don't give a fuck about your watch. He's like, but have you been getting fucked up again? And I said, yeah, I have been. He said, look, man, at this point, the way I see it, you only have 2 options. Either you bounce in and out of AA for the rest of your life and you can continue to be a fucking loser, or go to AA, get a sponsor, do the 12 steps, and maybe you'll have a shot at living a decent life. And it was just at that moment in time, I just realized no matter how much I always fought my dad's advice, and even though he didn't really know that much about AA, but he knew enough about what it was, where I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. And the next day, I just went straight into an AA meeting. And instead of judging everyone there, I was like, I'm just going to get some help, and I'm going to find a sponsor. And the following day, I found a sponsor. And
see, this is the thing about addiction, because there's people like you, I feel like, that just, there's a moment. There's like an inception moment. That's what I call it. And it's like, I can never do this again, right? And there was a moment like that for me. Not that I was like ever like really addicted to drugs, but I would do acid a lot. In college. I loved acid. I don't know what it was. It would get me in a different zone. And there's one point where I was like doing acid, and I started realizing like I could be okay with less. Like I don't want to make a lot of money and stuff like that. Like I don't need success and then I was like, whoa. Like I can't be like this. And that's where I completely stopped and let go of acid and a lot of hard drugs. I've done a lot of drugs, but I don't really have like an addictive personality. That's one thing about me that I'm very blessed to have. But obviously, you do enough of something, you're going to be chemically addicted. Some people don't ever get to that moment. Like some people just kind of keep going. How do you, if you were working with an addict right now, how would you kind of get them to like, They were very addicted. What's the kind of process that you put them through to kind of get them to stop?
The person in the middle is who I feel the worst for, because so often when somebody lives this shitty middle of the mall, miserable existence their whole life, where it's just not that bad, they never make a change. And their whole life they go on just living without taking a real audit and observation of their life, taking inventory and making the change. And that's the hardest person. You know, I feel so bad for those people. And so I always say, I wish that people would find a place of bottom so that they could actually bring about a change in their life. Because once someone says, wow, this pain hurts so fucking much, I give up, I need to seek help, then they can actually make the change. The only way that an addict or an alcoholic can actually get help is when they admit complete defeat. Until that moment of time, I don't press anything on anyone. If I see people getting fucked up or they come to me and like, man, I can't believe you're sober, like I kind of want to get sober, I'm like, no man, you don't kind of want to. When there comes a day when you're absolutely ready, like no problem, I'll bring you to an AA meeting and I'll help you. But that's the only way. I tried everything, dude. I tried to only use drugs on vacation. I tried to just drink beer. I tried therapists and shrinks and all this different shit. The only thing that ever worked after 15 fucking years of trying to fight drugs and alcohol was going to Alcoholics Anonymous, getting a sponsor, and doing the 12 steps with that sponsor. Without that, there's no hope for any alcoholic. Right?
So you believe, I mean, you said it before, it's the best program out there, but rock bottom is the only way.
For an alcoholic and addict, yeah. They have to admit, I am powerless over drugs and alcohol. If they cannot admit that, then they will always believe that they can control their life without developing a relationship with God. And if there's any hesitancy that they can continually control their own life, they will take their will back, and their alcoholic and addict mind will consistently go to the drugs and alcohol, regardless of their intellect. In fact, the smarter they are, the worse off it's going to be. For somebody who is extremely intellectual like myself, I would consistently lie to myself and talk myself out of these things, thinking that I could manage life on my own. Why? Because socially, I'm very capable. I could get any girl I wanted. I was always able to like get out of debt and make some form of money. I was good at math and I was good at finance. But my life was in fucking shambles.
Yeah.
So once I admitted, yes, I am powerless, then the only way up is to seek a relationship with God.
The rock bottom is probably one of the best things, because I had my rock bottom a long time ago. I was young. I just basically got evicted from my apartment. I had nothing. I was sleeping in my car. The girl I loved at the time, so I was talking to this girl, and I was like the side dude. She had a boyfriend, and he paid for the apartment, and she was like, he treats me terribly. He's such a bad person. And I'm over here, 20 years old, like, yeah, like, we have such an intense connection. And, like, I really loved her. Like, it was unreasonable, right? And he would basically leave, and I would come over, and then he would come over, and like I would leave before, and all that kind of stuff. So I basically found myself in a bad situation. I just didn't have money, and I got evicted from my downtown apartment in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was like, okay, I'll just stay with her like through the night. Like, he works at night, so like I would crash there and stuff. But she was like, no. Turns out there was another side dude that was like, it messed me up so much. And at the time I was so like, honestly, like my biggest struggle in kryptonite has been women. Women were my biggest struggle. Like, not that I struggled getting women. It was just the up and down and the volatility of dealing with women all the time, like chasing women. Totally. And so when she left, I had no money. I was sleeping in my car. Cleveland was brutally cold. I was like, I can never be broke again. I can never, ever, ever, ever be broke again. Started working at a nightclub. Never worked at nightlife before, never served, never did anything. I was like, it was like voodoo. It was like taboo. Like my mom looked at it like, this is like crime. Like, this is illegal. Like, you're serving alcohol and drinks. And 2016 Cleveland, LeBron, Kyrie, all these guys, like it was insane time. So I handled these athletes. Mind you, I didn't know who they were at the first time. That's why the club owners were like, yo, put this guy on, because we had a big problem with TMZ. Girls would take photos. They'd pay like $3,000 a photo back then for just some stuff going on. These athletes party, okay? And I didn't know it. Eventually, after a couple times, I figured out who they were. And I was so fascinated. Like, you're spending $1,000 on a $30 bottle. Blew my mind. I was so fascinated by it. And I would look around, and I noticed all the other people around them were in finance. And so what I do, like, I'm talking to these finance guys, like, how do you make money? And I also noticed that a lot of these NBA, NFL teams are owned by financial firms. They have a lot of financial firms have equity stake. Like, you look at companies like Globe Life, you look at companies like Progressive, they literally have their name tatted on the stadium, you know? Exactly. So that's how I got into finance. I didn't do financial advising. I do life and health. So I sold a lot of life insurance, and that's how I got into that. And that was like, honestly, that moment of being rock bottom, getting a job at the bar, like not even just LeBron, but Kyrie, all the other athletes that were there, from the Jason Kipnis, Manziel was in there. Like, dude, it was nuts. Like, it was a party house. Yeah. And I saw that success, and it was like, that was my solution. I was like, I'm going to be like these guys. I can't be an athlete, but I'm going to make athlete money.
Yep.
So you played sports, though, at a high level. How did that affect you when you were doing drugs and playing sports?
I was able to really manage,
you're young.
When I was so young. I was I did my best during the season to not, I didn't smoke weed until it was the nighttime. So like during the day, I was never high when I was playing. I was 100% sober every time, but every night I would go home and smoke and eat some Xanax. And I was just convinced that was part of my recovery.
Okay.
You watch Pumping Iron with Arnold, and he smoked a joint after working out, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just fucking recovering. I'm totally fine. But yeah, dude, I used to get shit-faced all the time, and then show up the next day and go to practice or go to a game or whatever. It was just, I was young.
When you're young, you don't have like the recoil from it as much. I remember being like 22, 21, and I was like, dude, like people that get hungover are like pussies. Like they suck. And then 23, got a hangover for the first time. I'm like, what is this feeling? Was it like drugged? And they're like, dude, you're just hungover. I'm like, wow, I'm getting old.
Yeah. I can't say that I ever felt a hangover in my drinking career.
Really?
Because I ended my drinking career at 23, for the most part. And at that point in my life, I was still completely invincible. I would wake up the next day, still drunk usually.
Yeah.
And feel totally fine.
After 23 is when it happened to me. So it's funny that you say the same thing.
Probably right after that I would have.
How do you stay away from like getting back into it in Miami? Like, I feel like I don't really get tempted out here because I don't like go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
But I can get like a young guy, some girl comes up like, hey, do this with us. Like, it's why I have a lot of fear of like raising children in like areas like this, right? Do you have any kids, by the way?
No, I don't.
So if you were to have kids, would you raise them here in Miami?
I mean, my mentor lives in Miami Beach, and I think he's done an unbelievable job raising those kids. I think it's very possible to raise kids here. It just requires being rich.
Yeah.
If you have enough money, you can put them in the right places. I mean, look, they're going to get exposed to things at a higher level here.
Yes,
than
exactly.
Some other places, and I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, I think it's your job as a parent to educate them as much as possible. Like, look, I grew up in Vermont, and I got exposed to a lot of the same shit. Maybe I didn't get exposed to some of the clubbing and the nightlife and the prostitution in Vermont, but I still got exposed to a lot of the hard drugs. And I think if you can help the child foster their ideas and some of their passions in life, then at the end of the day, you don't have ultimate control over what they do. I think growing up in Miami gives you a lot of opportunity if you can make the right connections here. But look, I'm not tempted by this shit ever, because nobody in my network does this. I just don't allow anyone into my circle that parties. None of my friends. Like, that is a prerequisite. Like, if you party, you're not a part of our circle. There's just no chance. Someone who smokes weed on a daily basis or is doing any drugs or like consistently going out and getting fucked up or going on the weekends, like, bro, I'm just not hanging out with you. I haven't been invited to a club in 6 years. Which
is good, because people are not tempting you with that. Like, that's a big part of, like, if you're trying to stop doing things, like, you got to cut out the friends that are just like putting you in that situation, because it's hard to say no to friends. But I always struggle with this one thought. I sit in front of my computer all day and I work, and that's how I got here. Like, that's how I make my money. And like, I get on my coaching calls and whatever it is, and that's what I do. And sometimes I feel almost like it's refreshing to hear someone like you talk about it, because everyone I know, from the people that are also in my industry, like, I do a lot of coaching in mental health, relationships. I do like addiction as well. Like, with some of my clients are addicts that come to me. They're successful, functional addicts in a sense. But it's a lot of people when it comes to dating and relationships. One of my biggest pieces of advice is you need to go out. You need to go meet people. Like, that is literally like the quickest and most effective way. Go out. Not necessarily drink, but alcohol is almost like social lubricant a lot of times. Like, you go out and you have a drink with somebody, it can really blossom into something. A lot of times it's how it works. And so I struggle sometimes because, like, I'm like, am I making the right decisions? Like, I've gone out a couple times here and I've met amazing people, and every time I go out, I meet somebody that's so successful in a financial aspect, but also in different aspects. I'm like, man, like, maybe I should go out more. Maybe I should step out and meet people. But the same thing that made me successful is like not going out, not partying, not doing anything. And when I say partying, I'm like, partying to me is just staying out late sometimes. Like, like, I got to be in bed. Like, I don't even drink when I go out or anything, but like, do you ever feel that? Like, are you ever at the crossroads of that? I feel like you're so like on this side, like, where you're like, no, it's not good for you.
It's very possible for me to go out and not drink.
Yes.
So I've been out after dinner, a handful of times. And when we're in Europe, don't get me wrong. Yeah, dude, in Monaco, I go to the fucking club. But, we were at the club 4 nights in a row. I'm capable of being there and not drinking, but I don't necessarily think that being out super late is where I'm going to find the type of people that I'm really looking for. That's not to say that there's not people who, exist who are out late or who are maybe looking to meet somebody as well. But I would rather find a girl in the gym, at church, maybe at a healthy spot, through connections with friends. And I'm just generally in no rush. So I don't really feel like I'm missing out because I don't want to deal with any of the brain damage of a girl who goes out and parties. I actually, because, dude, if I have a girl in a relationship, I don't ever fucking want her to be like, yo, could we go to the club tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember that's where I met you. Like, once a month I go to the club with my friends. Like, no, I'm not fucking going. And, like, I just don't want a girl who goes out late and gets fucked up and goes to the club. So she's got to be on a completely different path. But, dude, the baddest bitches that I know in all of Miami are on the same schedule as me. Like, the real fitness girls, dude, they're not fucking going out to the club. Like, they're not going out getting fucked up. Like, the baddest models, most of them are, like, waking up at 5, 6 a.m. every day and super healthy and just not, being toxic with their body. So it exists. It's just harder to find.
So let me add to that, right? So I agree with you. The baddest girls that live here are not going out. I 100% agree with you. But what I have found out is, and I'm not saying this should tempt anybody, but the women that come here from Russia, like Ukraine, like the foreign, they come out to party. Like,
Yes.
Miami is an international destination.
So at this point, I'm very lucky that I don't need any help meeting women because my inbound is crazy.
Right.
Only because, and this is why I always promote, yo, if you want to find a girl, fucking better yourself and post on social media
100%.
what you do every day.
Best dating app in the world is Instagram.
When I post one fucking reel about mindset and it goes viral, my DM's nuts, bro. It's like 100 of the smokest applicants from the fucking world. Every country in the world, the hottest girls are hitting me up just because I posted something that aligns with my values too. So I post a reel saying, like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to the clubs, I go to bed early, I prioritize fitness, my relationship with God, and eating healthy. I'm putting out a fucking job application right there. That's really what I'm doing.
See where we line up.
Hey, if you don't fuck with this, like, fuck off, no problem. But if you do, and there's a lot of girls that hit me up, great. Now we got an application. So build your personal brand.
So you're all about building your brand, elevating in that aspect. And you know that, see, like, I work with a lot of like the generalistic population, like a lot of guys, like regular guys, right? That are not making the money that we're making, not at a level of success, not even living in Miami. And what works for them, I would say, this might sound like, I actually agree with what you're saying. Build yourself up, create an opportunistic lifestyle. It'll become easier for you to date. One of the biggest things I tell guys, like, guys always complain about spending money on women and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get it. I understand. But if you have a very opportunistic lifestyle, what's funny is that I don't even spend that much money on women. Like, I'll invite her over to my place. Not that this is like the Taj Mahal, but like, it's nice. And I'm like, hey, let's cook dinner at my place. And if you have a nice car and like certain things like that actually like benefit me, like the car is for me, the place is for me, the things are for me. I don't have to spend for the girl. They don't really want to go out. They don't really want to do anything like that. So I 100% agree with it. But for the average guy that's dating in Miami, what advice would you give him?
Man, don't be average.
Yep.
Fuck,
I
bro.
knew it was coming.
Dude, oh, man.
It's hard.
I could only imagine, bro, because, I mean, since I don't drink, I don't ever ask a girl, like, yo, let's just get drinks.
Yeah.
Because that would be the easiest way, right? Is if you're like, hey, let's just go have a couple of drinks. Then it's not really high pressure. You meet with the girl and she sucks or she doesn't like you. You guys can both leave.
Yep.
I'm usually doing a couple things. I'm like, yo, let's get a workout in together. So it's already
crazy.
Yeah, always, bro.
No, but that's fire though, because I feel like a lot of guys are not confident enough to. But I want to hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, another thing, it's like, look, when you just improve yourself and you're super confident, when you get in good shape, and when you build yourself, I'm just like, yo, let's go get a workout in together. Okay, great. If a girl has like a couple of the checklists, like if she's spiritual and she can actually communicate, she's not a complete moron and she doesn't have OnlyFans, I'll take her to dinner. Now, yes, my average fucking dinner bill is going to be $800, like, for sure. I've done it's actually $870 could I take her to a less bougie place? Yes. But look, it's not even that, it's not that I'm trying to be flashy. Like, I'm not letting the valet take my car. like I'll pay $100 for every fucking valet because I want to keep it out front. And if they don't have out front valet, I'm not going. So I'm only going to the bougiest restaurants, and I'm always going to order the nicest shit. And it's not even like I'm trying to impress the girl. I don't give a fuck because I'm going to impress the girl with my mind.
You're doing it for yourself.
Right? But I like the really bougie, nice shit. So yes, it does get very expensive. But if you are an average guy, dude, just focus on the gym, go to church. Like if those are your values, get involved in the community and the service. Like go to VU Church and literally get involved in the get a service.
What is VU
community.
Church?
It's literally the greatest.
It's non-denominational church, or is it?
Yeah, it's like I think it's Christian. They call it Christian.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like specifically Catholic or anything else. So, but they have many different campuses, many different service times. You can get involved in the church. You can do a service commitment, bro. Some of the baddest girls that I've seen in all of Miami are at that church.
Yeah.
Like I believe that either I will find a wife when I'm in Europe in the summer or at VU Church. Like that is my belief. It's like, and then they're aligned with your values, right? So for me, it's like, do they believe in God? Do they work out? Are they healthy? And do they not party? Those are going to be like 4 of my main concerns. So I want to go to places where I can find girls like that, or at least invite them to do some form of activity or something like that aligns with my values.
So back to the average guy, elevate your life. So like I honestly, a lot of guys, I tell them like, don't even focus on dating. Don't even focus on dating until you have like every attractive feminine girl is going to want some level of success.
Yes.
She's going to want a guy because first off, if she's a good looking girl, dudes are hitting her up, trying to buy her things, trying to take her out, so on and so forth. So it's like, you can't avoid it, you know? So I agree with what you're saying. And at what level should a guy go out and date, do you think? Like,
at least have the baseline foundation of you have confidence in yourself. You're in halfway decent shape. Like you can't be a slob. You've done some form of self-analysis, right? Of like, hey, am I optimal in the areas that I want to be optimal in? And I mean, in business, at least be ascending or be in a position to take the girl on some trips or a halfway decent dinner. You don't have to drive anything crazy, but at least be able to provide for her. And here's the other thing, do not spend money on shit to look cool. Like fuck getting a nice car or a nice watch or the shit to look cool. The girl, if she's a good girl, is going to be more concerned about you spending money on her and her experiences, on cultivating a relationship with her. A girl should want you to have money, but if her sole thing is to fucking get a Birkin, fuck that girl, dude. That's not what you need.
a lot of girls here.
Right. But you have to make money. Like you have to understand that, look, if I was a girl and I'm always going to be going to these weird places and waiting online forever and having a very inconvenient life, I'm going to be like, fuck this. I want to go with a guy who's more confident, who moves better, who pays off the valet, who spends $100 to cut the line, who takes me on a nice little trip. It doesn't mean that I need to be in anything better than, say, a BMW or a Benz. It's not like I have to be in the Ferrari or have to be in this. But I need someone who moves swiftly with confidence and makes my life a little bit easier so that I'm not like, why the fuck am I with a loser who can't even provide a good life?
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about girls that work in like the OnlyFans industry? You mentioned that because you're like, hey, they can't do that.
I mean, dude, I've tried to convert so many fucking OnlyFans girls.
Stop doing it.
Bro, and so I will never...
Why have you not been able to?
I mean, it's impossible, bro. Once you sell your body for a certain period of time, no matter how much the girl is committed to making a change in her life. And dude, I literally just got out of this relationship from a girl who had OnlyFans, and when I started dating her, I was like, yo, you got to shut this shit down. You got to change your Instagram, like, and are you really committed to like spirituality, mindset, fitness, nutrition? And she was like, yes, 100%. And I went into this thinking, this isn't a great start because I'm trying to change a girl, and it needs to be a girl that I can accept with all her flaws and who she is. And there's some things that I can't accept, but she's really committed to making these changes. Shut down her OnlyFans, was making a ton of money. Shut it down for me. Change her Instagram, changed a lot of her behavior, focused solely on fitness, nutrition, mindset, and wanted to go to church with me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying. But dude, at the end of the day, she couldn't see that she would post this continually sexualized content and think it wasn't sexualized because it had been 5, 6, 7 years of selling her body.
She's so habituated to it.
Dude, she becomes an inanimate object and she doesn't even realize what she's doing. And she wasn't in a position to derive her worth internally, even though she was working so hard on it. And bro, there's no other girls that have OnlyFans that are as enlightened as this girl was. And so for me, there's no hope. Like, bro, this girl was a lot of like meditation and analysis and trauma work and healing. And,
But why did she go? I mean, is it the money? Like this
yeah,
is
bro, what happens when you start making $80K a month? You know what I mean? You don't have to rely on a dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like of course you're gonna fucking keep going with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's a nice life. $80K a month, she's doing pretty good.
A lot of girls don't make that though, doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, a lot of them don't.
like
But,
a-
you know,
she was doing it.
even at 40, 50K a month,
It's crazy.
You know, like you're doing good enough for yourself where you're like, but those girls get sucked into that life, and even worse, they start to befriend other girls who are making.
They're in a
content or
circle,
stripping or whatever,
and it
dude,
normalizes
those girls
it.
are so limited in their mindset. They've never like actually valued themselves with anything above and beyond their ass and their tits, and they can't get through that. And look, sometimes men are at fault also, because a lot of men with money who have never taken a look at themselves, or who are these older rich guys who just want like a fuck doll, they'll pay a lot of these girls solely based on the way that they look. And then they don't care about the actual relationship. But until a girl meets a real fucking G like me, she's like, she doesn't even understand how I operate. That after 3 minutes of looking at her across the table, I've dated the most beautiful girls in the fucking world. And I'm sick of her. Literally. Like, dude, people are like, oh my God, what was it like getting with that girl? And I was like, it fucking sucked. I couldn't even get through a fucking dinner. A hole is a hole. It's not about the way that the girl looks at the end of the day. Do I need physical attraction? Yes. But dude, the mental, social connection is the only thing that is going to last. Right? Like, and so if they don't have that, and they're not aligned with your values, they're not willing to grow, they're not a good communicator, it's never gonna fucking work. And they focus all their time on how they look, which is like, dude, great, you can look great, but you're gonna need to focus on yourself. You're gonna have to develop some interests. You're gonna, what a girl needs to understand is like, how do I compliment this dude, right? Like, girl, you don't have to worry about a fucking thing with me. You will never touch a door. You will never pay for a fucking thing. I will always communicate with you. I will always have conversations with you. I will make you feel loved and cared for. I don't drink. I don't party. Like, when you get with someone like this, you need to support me. And you need to understand how to make my life easier. Because when you're a very successful, high-level entrepreneur, and you have a personal brand, and you do all this shit, all day long, all I deal with, much like you, is bullshit, 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 problem, 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 problem. Employees, clients, coworkers, executives, my investors, everything is just a fucking problem. So at the end of the day, I don't want her fucking problems about my hair appointment took 3 hours. Like, yo, motherfucker, this shit is so low level. You need to elevate above and beyond this. And if the looks are the only thing that you care about, then it's never going to work between us. So if the girl can actually focus on her mind, having some interest, and supporting somebody who's at the next level, they can attract someone that has a long-lasting relationship, rather than just saying every dude is a fuckboy and a wannabe.
You dated this girl, right? And why did you decide to pull the trigger with dating her? Because was this something like more so like a recent revelation? Like, okay, look, I'm never dating OnlyFans girls. Because like I've never even taken the plunge to date a girl like that. I know a lot of girls. You know how many girls hit me up that do OnlyFans that like, hey, like we want to jump on your podcast, blah, blah. And I get it. Like it's promotion for them. I talk about relationships. I talk about dating. Any content of us clashing is going to do well, theoretically. But it's like, I've never taken the plunge. What made you want to date her?
I've never had a desire to do that, because I usually look at someone who creates OnlyFans and I'm just like, you're an inanimate object. That's how I view you. You know, like you've just become the same thing as a pocketbook. You know, I could just purchase anything like you, and you're for the streets. You're for everybody, not just for me. But the way in which this relationship blossomed was, okay, her best friend was friends with my friends, and we ended up all going shooting at the gun range together. So it's this girl and her best friend. We go shooting at the gun range, and the entire conversation at the gun range is about mindset, meditation, spirituality, nutrition, fitness. And I'm like, damn,
I like this
these
girl.
girls are dope as fuck. Like, I could talk to these girls all day long. And then after that conversation, she was like, basically, hey, I still kind of have a boyfriend. We're like on the rocks, but I can't talk to you out of respect for my boyfriend. I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, it's all good. We don't need to do any of that. So eventually when that's over, we start hanging out, but I didn't have sex with her for the first like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe even longer, maybe even like 5 weeks.
How long would you wait normally?
A day?
You're quick. Yeah, I get
A day?
it. Yeah.
Like, bitch, if I don't have sexual chemistry with you, I need to know right away.
100%. Yep.
Like, we need to know right away. And all these girls are like, well, if I give it up, I'm gonna make you wait. I'm like, yo, fuck that. All my girls that I've been in actual relationships with, I fucked the first time, except for this girl, because I knew she was going through some shit. And when we started hanging out, she was kind of still with her boyfriend. So I'm like, I don't want any problems. You know what I mean? Like, let's not fucking do anything. And she was like, yeah, I can't. We can't even touch, whatever. So I'm fine. So like we hung out a few times, and the conversations were like, I was like, geez, like you are next level with the mindset and everything. And I developed a real friendship and a connection with this girl where I was like, wow, I thoroughly, for the first time in my life, bro, I enjoyed being with a girl outside of sex. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's because until 31, I was always high and on Xanax, and I never shared any real relationship with a girl. I was just a degenerate loser, and I can honestly say I was a shitty boyfriend to every girl. Once when I turned 31 and I got sober, I started to work on myself. For the first year, didn't talk to a girl. And then my next 2 girlfriends, I was still like really working on myself, and I was scaling 10X in companies. I was gone all the time. I wasn't really able to develop any time into the relationship with those girls. And then I was single for a year. I meet this girl. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really enjoy hanging out and being with this girl. One day we have this crazy thing where I teach her how to meditate in a certain way. You know, we both end up cutting our feet on the rocks. We're bleeding, and she gets into my arms. We start making out and go back, and everything was basically over from there. And I knew she had the OnlyFans, but it was like I had developed this connection, and I didn't know what it would turn into. And I was like, and she was like, yo, do you have any like reservations about it? So I'm like, yeah, obviously, like you have OnlyFans. I don't want to date a girl with an OnlyFans. And she's like, if I got rid of it, would you date me? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And so we went on in limbo for this period of time, and then she got rid of it, and we started dating. And it just sort of materialized. It's not like, even though it was in the back of my mind that this probably isn't a good idea, I fell in love with this girl.
Yeah.
Really, like, dude, for the first time since maybe 16 years old, I truly fell in love with this girl. But at the end of the day, like, there was nothing I could do to completely change who she was as a person and her background and some of the choices that she made and the way that she thought about the world. And I knew it was just not aligned with where I was going in my life.
How did she recoil back into it?
After we broke up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so you guys ended, no OnlyFans, nothing like that, amicably, and then kind of went back into it.
Yeah. So we had a period of time where we stopped hanging out. Then we got back together and tried it again. And then this is only 2 weeks ago that we've been done, completely separated. You know, it was just, hey, this isn't going to work out anymore. You know, we're not on the same page. We should probably stop trying. Like, we've already tried a couple times.
No, yeah, I love that you talked about it. It's really good.
It was hard. It was brutal, dude. You know.
Breakups suck. Breakups probably, honestly, a lot of my growth in life has come from breakups. Like, anytime a girl walks out of my life or anything like that, it's like the biggest motivator for me. It's like, okay, if I became, and it's not necessarily like this diluted, but like if I became more successful, more powerful, more influential, more anything, she's gonna look back and be like, I fucked up, right? And it's not like I want to just revenge all the way. It's more so like I need to be able to get better. And the only way I've been able to get over girls is by finding higher quality women. Totally. And so every relationship I've been in after, I've dated higher quality women, and I've been in touch with higher quality women. Not necessarily just in looks, but like in personality, mindset, everything like that. You know, it's so much better. But I've always been curious, like Miami, when I came here, I've only been here for like 6 months, 7 months. There's a lot of girls that do that type of content.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I almost have wanted to take the plunge in, like, not that I can't be friends with a girl that does that. I just don't want to surround myself with it. It's just not a good thing to be around. It normalizes it for me. Like, I don't want to normalize that work, that routine. Like, you know, if you're friends with someone that's like a mercenary or like a serial killer, like they probably would be like fun people to talk to, but it's just not conducive to where I'm going right now.
Exactly.
But how do you stay away from it? Like, do you just completely, because you were friends with her first.
Yep.
So do you like keep the friendships, or like?
No, there will be, you know, there's no way that we can be friends. You know, there was too much like deep love and passion there that we're not going to be in a position to.
But like people that are doing the OnlyFans, right? That are in the sex industry.
You know, I did some fitness content with a girl who had OnlyFans back in the day, and I deleted it from my page, and she was so pissed at me, like, why'd you delete this shit from my page? And I'm like, look, I talk a lot about God and spirituality, and as I've been going back to church, I just realized that it's not aligned with my values, and it's not anything I want to promote. Even though I'm not promoting OnlyFans, you have it, and that's only one click away on my page from something that I don't want people to go down. You know, I literally, when people join my program, I'm like, go through your explore page, go click and hold not interested on all the boobies that come up.
Crazy.
Right? I want you to clean up your feed, mute all the girls' stories, unfollow all these fucking whores, And don't ever fucking get an OnlyFans. Like, get a real legitimate girl. And until then, like, I don't know, fucking do whatever you need to do, jerk off, but don't fucking just go consume all this OnlyFans content and normalize
See,
it.
I advise everyone that I work with to not jerk off. Like, I hate porn. Like, it took me a long time to get off porn. Like, I haven't watched porn in like many years now. But when I was younger, I wouldn't say I was addicted, but it was like regular to me. I never thought I had a problem with it, or like, I never thought it was a problem. Now, I think OnlyFans is like guys' faults. Like, all the men in the world, like it's us. Like, people are paying for it. These women are not getting money from like some overlord industry. Like, men are paying them.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And there's an operation behind it that's absolutely just wild. Like, from chatters to management teams to content creation teams. Like, it's honestly out of this world. It's insane.
Totally.
I want to know your perspective on it. Do you advocate for, like, do you shut down porn altogether from any of your clients, or like, do you say, hey, it's okay?
No, I mean, I always say don't jerk off to porn at all. Like, there's no reason to. But I feel like I was in a very special place in which when I would masturbate, it was to all the content of girls that I had been with before. Mm-hmm. But I actually got to a point where my best friends were like, dude, you have to delete that folder. Mm-hmm. Right. And so this was a process in which it was like, okay, well, if I'm not using porn and I delete that folder, what am I going to do? And it was like, abstaining. And that's a very difficult process.
It's extremely difficult.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect with it by any means, but I would just tell people, like, dude, porn is going to ruin the way that you think about a relationship. Like, one of the reasons that I really, like, okay, yes, I connected with this girl in an amazing way in terms of mindset and social and all this shit, but like sexually we had this amazing connection because she was a freak, and I always say, like, man, it's going to be very hard for me to find a girl that checks all these boxes and is a complete freak. Because it's not that I just jerked off to so much porn of like crazy wild shit. It's like I've just had a bunch of girlfriends that were complete freaks. So now like the bar is going to be very high. Yep. But so in general, there's just no reason to watch porn. Like, go as long as you can without it. If you have to fucking jerk off to your thoughts, like, do the best that you can.
I think a lot of guys struggle with that. Jerking off to your thoughts is probably like the best way you can go about it. But like, even I had that rationalization at one point. Like, I've had videos, you know what I mean? Like, I have that folder as well, and I'm like, it's not bad because it's me.
Yeah.
It's not like,
that's what I thought.
It's like a memory. Like, I'm just reliving it. It's like, me sitting on my couch and thinking about like when I went on the beach and looking at photos of me on the beach. Like, it's not bad. But even that I had to get rid of. That's probably like one of the most difficult things I think men struggle with, because that is like an instant stream of dope. That's like the highest, arguably, stream of dopamine out there. And it makes you complacent. It makes you calm. It makes you feel like you get this immediate like victory, this immediate win from doing absolutely nothing. Totally. Do you work with a lot of guys that are in that? You work with a lot of fitness coaches, right? Mainly people that are trying to scale their programs.
So I have two separate programs.
Okay.
So I do have a business mentorship in which I help online coaches, most specifically fitness, mindset, and health coaches, scale their online offers. So set up their profile, structure their content, scale their offer. I also have a program, what I call the 1% protocol, and this is a fitness, mindset, nutrition, health program in which I help someone become completely optimized.
Regular guy on the street comes in.
Anybody that wants. And I have 17-year-old kids that are doing landscaping, and I got one of my clients is a billionaire. Right? I have a myriad of different types of people, because everyone can benefit from improving their mindset, getting in better shape, improving their health, and dropping their vices. And so the whole program is like, yes, I help them with a fitness routine, and I help them with a nutrition plan. But I have these weekly group calls in which I'm consistently talking about mindset, discipline, habits, stoicism, emotional intelligence, spirituality, dropping the vices, everything that I did to go from a rock bottom degenerate drug addict and 100K of credit card debt to fit, sober, healthy, helping other people, president of 10X Health, making 7 figures, all the shit. And so I give them every fucking thing that you could ever do as a level of personal development to become optimized and improve in every area of their life.
What are the steps, like, if you could break it down in a very simple way? Like, is it just like a blitz of like health, mindset, or anything, or is it like step 1, step 2, step 3?
Yeah, so there's what happens is when someone wants to change their life, from what I've seen, they try and do everything at once. They do it for 3 days, 3 weeks, and then they can't be consistent and they fail, right? And then they go right back to the old bullshit habits that they have. So my whole thing is, let's clean up your life currently and add a few small sustainable steps into where you're at. So I have them take a look at what's your current morning routine. What are you doing to prime your day each and every day? And if they're like, hey, I wake up at a random time, I hit snooze, I doom scroll TikTok and Instagram, I jerk off, I have a coffee, and I go to work. Well, we're going to have to give them a very simple morning routine, which is like, bro, just wake up a little earlier at a consistent time, hydrate with some electrolyte salts, read one page in one of these positive books I give you, and do some form of a workout.
You give out 2 books. I forget.
Right.
One's The Art of
Living by Epictetus.
And then
177 mental techniques.
Missed the number of it.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, they're just amazing, one page. All they have to do is read one page each day. And so now if they wake up at a consistent time, they got win number 1, they hydrate with electrolyte salts, their mind is at least a little bit clear and ready for the day because we usually wake up dehydrated. They prime their mind in a way where it's just like one page in this book that puts them in the right direction, and then they get some exercise in. I don't give a fuck if it's like burpees, go on a walk, do some push-ups, or doing a real strength workout. I advise they should get their ass to the gym and do the full workout. But if they're in a position where they're so far behind, like just get some exercise in and you can work out later in the day. From there, all the way through, wake up as early as possible. Let's call it 5 a.m. Pray, hydrate, meditate, read a page in a book, journal, breath work, go on a walk, take a cold shower, eat this proper shit, supplementation, go to the gym, then recovery.
So your morning routine is really...
Mine is fucking crazy,
So that is the yours is what, 16 steps or 9 steps?
Well, so it's actually changed over time. When I first started doing this, it was like, super crazy and long. Now it's a little bit different. It's wake up at a consistent time. It's prayer, hydrate with electrolyte salts, read a page in the book, meditate. I actually have to add back in going for a walk in the morning. Right now I'm going for a walk in the afternoon. But right now it's very simple, just 5, and then go to the gym, right? So, but it's not, I'm not doing journaling, I'm not doing breath work, I'm not going on a walk, I'm not, it's not as long as it once was.
Do you not journal because I know you recommend it to people, like when you work with people, you're like, write down everything. Like you talk about writing down every single thing, every emotion, like basically in a nutshell. Do you not journal now or?
I journal, but it's less frequently. I usually journal like twice a week, and I'll do it more in an evening time at a reflection.
Okay.
To just like a constant stream of thoughts. I used to do it in a morning routine, like in a more structured way. But I just found that by condensing my morning routine to the way that it looks today, I'm still equally as productive. But it's one of the most powerful tools you can do. I mean, journaling is like meditation on steroids. It actually takes thoughts in your mind that you were processing with bias and judgment, maybe even pardoning yourself, and it makes them real on paper for you to take a more acute look of the reality of the situation, right? Like I used to write down shit like I'm addicted to talking to girls, right? And in my mind, I'm like, nah, it's no big deal, bro. They DM me, they're interested in the program, or they say whatever, and I have a quick conversation, it's no big deal. But if I really look back at that, like how many hours per day am I wasting, like having pointless fucking conversations with girls, like 2 hours per day?
And
like,
it's crazy,
bro, I'm wasting 2 fucking working hours per day, maybe even 3 sometimes, just randomly chatting with girls. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
It's crazy because women, okay, so this is side note. When women hit on me, at least, it's not like they hit on me. Like guys are like, you're hot, like let's go. Girls position themselves in front of you. They're like, I love your stuff. I love this. I love that. And they'll stay there. And then they'll wait for you to kind of like engage them, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like the most misleading thing ever. How do you deal with that? Like, I know there's a lot of girls that hit me up like, hey, like, I love what you do, blah, blah, blah. I would love to learn more about your podcast. And I'm like, the entire time she's just positioning herself for me to eventually be like, hey, by the way, are you single? Like, we should connect.
Yeah. I'm so direct that like, I never really deal with it too much.
When they message you, hey, I love your stuff, like you're like, hey, there's a coaching program, there's a link, sign up here.
I don't work with usually if they actually show interest in the program and they DM me like 1% to work on mindset and fitness, then I'll just engage in the conversation totally normally. Not too many girls waste my time like pretending to be interested in my program. And once in a while, if they do, like no big deal. I think because of the way that I create content, girls are so forward with me. It's fucking, bro, my DMs should be studied. My friends are like, dude, what the fuck is this? I mean, dude, they just kind of throw themselves at me.
That's amazing.
It's they don't waste too much of my time. It's like,
Instagram is your date. I always say that Instagram's the number 1 dating app out there in the world by far.
Totally.
And it's unequal because some people look at it like a high-level celebrity, they're going to get a bunch of DMs every single day, and then there's people that have absolutely none.
Yep.
But, yeah, so Instagram is your main source of game, which is good. I feel like that's amazing because you can sit here and then Oh, Sarah Smith popped up here.
It's a little bit problematic.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I have gotten extremely lazy. And so, like, the biggest issue that I still struggle with in my life is the fact that I don't have a legitimate relationship and I'm wasting time, with girls right now. And I'm single. So it wastes a lot of time. But I also get very lazy because it's like, okay, girl DMs me on Instagram, like, yo, let me send you an Uber. While you're in the Uber, why don't you check out Uber Eats and you can tell me what you want to order.
You're, dude, knocking it out. It's genius.
So, bro, everything is controlled and I don't have to wait for them and think, like, when are you going to arrive? Like, do you have to deal with the valet? Did you drive your car? Did you get lost with directions? Did you miss your Uber? Like, no. I'm going to control everything 100% of the time. Like, are you ready? And they'll be like, yes. And I'm like, ready. The Uber's outside. They'll be like, oh my God, like, no, give me 10 more minutes. Okay, no problem. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Go downstairs, order the Uber, send the screenshot, tell me what you want to eat. What are you in the mood for? Steak, sushi, whatever. I order it. They come over, do whatever, we want to do, eat, and then I send them in an Uber back. Like, that's my whole life.
Do you enjoy that? I'm not even saying that this is bad, because I've monogamy. I love monogamy, but because I like monogamy, I think monogamy is the number one child rearing institution. Like, it's by far, if you study everything, mother and father together is much better for the psychology of a child. Totally. And I love children. Like, I want to have children soon. Like, I genuinely want kids. I'm not in a relationship right now, but if I find the right girl, date her for a certain period of time, get to know her, establish that we have some compatibility, I would probably want to have kids. The thing is, though, I'm starting to realize it more and more as I'm here too. I think that a lot of people struggle with monogamy. A lot of people, and there's a biological wiring in men for, like, us to go and sleep with everybody. And I think that society is now shifting back to that. Like, because here's my complex theory. Women back in the day didn't used to work. Like, nothing happened. Man, he's a good guy. He has a job, whatever. Like, every guy is, like, good in theory. They all have something a woman does not have. Now, there's a lot of guys that don't have things that women don't have. Like, there's girls that make a lot more than a lot of guys here.
Yep.
That never happened before. Never, okay? Right. And the world was also more barbaric. Like, you got to lift this, you got to do that. We don't have Uber Eats to bring it to your door. You got to carry up groceries. There's a lot of things. Like, so now that women have a much more equal playing field, if not, I would argue in the early ages, like 18, 19, 20, women cruise through the world. If they're good looking, not only can you make money like a man, you can also get things for free, like drinks, food, whatever. Like, you have a different level of edge that comes in the game. So it's like a lot of women don't want a guy, and there's so many conversations that talk about this, but they always want the top percentage guy, and then those top percentage guys become, I don't even want to say like bad, but narcissistic, Machiavellian. They either manipulate or they just say, hey, look, I don't want to commit to you. So the world has become more focused on not being monogamous anymore. Yeah. I think it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It does fuck with your mind a little bit when you get to a certain position and it's like, I'm pretty happy with myself, with who I am as a person, and I've achieved a level in which I don't care if I lost all my money tomorrow, I can make it back in a fucking minute. Like, I have a skill set and I have a mindset about me, and I've overcome so many problems that, like, nothing can ever hold me down. I will be able to generate a secure life for the remainder of my life, regardless of my ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And as a result of having that mindset and being in shape and being good looking, it's like, man, if a girl doesn't fucking act accordingly, I'm like very quick to be like, yo, you're out and look for the next one.
But you have options here. That's one of the things in Miami. You have optionality. You have extreme level of options here. Like, dude, the amount of girls that hit me up like that I haven't talked to in years. Hey, I'm in your city. I'm in Miami. Like, I'm like, whoa, wow. I haven't talked to you in years. It's crazy. Like Vermont, where I'm Cleveland, there's the same 20 A1 girls of the city. They're not bad looking either. Like, they're very nice girls, but you're not like, you cut her off. It's like 3 of her friends are going with her too. Like, no, you're a bad guy. It's like,
dude, being in Miami makes it the worst.
That's what I like,
bro, because I get every girl.
It's a video game here
from Europe or from California or from Dubai. They're like, hey, I'm in your city, and it's like, damn, shit, I would have never had access to this before, but now with Instagram, like, they know that they're in my city. And
it's like, crazy because when I lived in Cleveland, right? I know a lot of girls on social media just, hey, like, when we cross paths, we'll cross paths. Will never happen. Nobody's coming to Cleveland. Have you ever been in Cleveland?
No.
Okay, when's the next? You don't have a trip planned or anything like that. So it's like not a thing that people are planning.
Yeah, right.
Miami, dude, people
Everybody.
like to say they're going to Miami too. Like,
Yeah.
I meet people who are like, yeah, I'm moving here. I'm moving here. I'm
Yeah.
genuinely like going to be here. Like, oh, I'll be back like next week. We're going to be back. And they don't mean it, but like, it's crazy.
I will say, if I look back on my relationship with this girl who I spoke about, during that time, I shut down all other girls. And it actually wasn't hard for me.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you why. I felt a real connection with her. Like, I absolutely love that girl. And I had such a sexual connection with her too, that like, I just didn't have any desire for any other girls. I think what's really important is that you post your girlfriend. If you get in a relationship, you have to post and tag that
Did you
girl.
post her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Like, dude, you have to, because here's what's going to happen. Okay. If you consistently post her, 75% of the girls are going to fall off and stop hitting you up. 10% of the girls are going to send you nudes,
Go
fucking
harder.
themselves immediately and
Yep.
try and get you to do it. And the other 15% over time are going to see your shit and be like, hey, I'm happy for you. I'm glad, whatever. And they're still going to try and stay in touch.
They're just
from
looking for your
afar,
availability.
But they're not going to like press you, okay? And so you just have to be able to handle these 10% of girls that are like throwing your shit your way. And
I think the 10% is hard though.
It's very hard.
Here's the thing. First off, the 10%, there's a world of women out there that go for guys, number one, that are in relationships because number one, if she's a good looking girl, she's hot. What the fuck does this guy have? Does he have a big dick? Does he make a lot of money? Is he good looking? Is it all three?
Yeah.
Potentially, right? And that's the problem. And so this is dark stuff right here. When I was younger and I was a nightclub promoter, like when I worked in that arena, you know who I would go for? Girls in relationships. Way easier.
Yeah.
Because it's me versus your dude versus me versus all the single dudes out there in the world.
Totally.
So if I can just beat your dude, I'm like, how's it going with, like, dude, Wade is awesome. I bet he's amazing. He's good. But like the other day, like, I'm like, nah, that's not what he would never do that. What are you talking about? Yeah. And you just break it down and it's fucked up. But like, those were the easiest girls to get. Because I'm like, in my head too, I'm like, dude, some dude's like simping over her, buying her things. And it's great to be the side dude. Valentine's Day, go hang out with your boyfriend. I'll sit here on the side, call me tomorrow, whatever it is. But those girls, your girlfriend's so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. They're the worst.
So the thing is, what you're just talking about though, I used to do that, and that fucks up your mind more than
It's the worst.
else.
Yeah, it's the worst
because,
karma.
Dude, for the rest of my life, I'm thinking, man, these kind of girls that I would steal from their boyfriends, like, now I just don't trust any girls. And it has given me serious trust issues that I'm still trying to work through. One thing I want to go back to, dude, is this, okay? When I have a girl, when I'm not with her, she's going to have to send me nudes and her fucking herself constantly.
To keep you entertained.
Because, bro, all these other girls are, and I'm like, yo, block or whatever, not do it. But you become so accustomed to it that like she's gonna have to be a freak and be okay with doing this. And I know a lot of girls don't want to hear this and don't think they should have to, but that's just the society that we live in now and today. And so she's got to have this, like, yes, she's got to want to be a mother and, you know, be healthy and be spiritual, but she's got to have this internal freak about her to like keep this shit.
Your
burning.
contract isn't that hard though. Like, cause with you, no opening doors, taking care of things. Like, it's really a transaction that I think a lot of women would sign up for it. A lot. Yeah. 100%.
And dude, there's nothing that a woman can communicate with me about that I will not listen to and have a conversation with. If she opens up with, hey, this thing that you did made me feel this way, you are entitled to feel any way you want about anything that I did. If you do not communicate this with me and you consistently let it bug you until you act like a fucking asshole and don't say anything and then try and play this tit for tat game, we're done. Mm-hmm. But if you just tell me, hey, this made me feel a little weird, I understand. You're a woman. You have emotions. You have hormones. You have a cycle. You're going to feel a little weird about things that I do, especially being a fucking asshole, sometimes sarcastic, you know, really forward-thinking, confident guy. That's going to happen. Just got to communicate these things with me. So I'm giving them an open door from which to be able to have this communication, and I'm not going to judge them for that. I'm a degenerate drug addict who's fucked up his whole life, who observed himself and worked through his emotions. So again, I'm not going to judge them, but so many of them are incapable of communicating that it's like, dude, fuck, you guys got to work through this inability to communicate.
It's like one thing to circle back to this. Posting your girlfriend. I never recommend posting your girlfriend, right? Because I don't value social media as much. I mean, I don't think that Instagram, people have dated for years and been married for years and actually, in a sense, more successful than us in today's generation without social media. I understand your perspective on it, though. I'm like 50-50 on it in some aspects, because if you're going to post your girl and she's a good-looking girl, that 10% is like, all right, ladies, like, let's suit up. Like, they're nitro mode. Like, they're like, this motherfucker is, oh, it's time to break. Because not only the better looking she is, the more of an ego boost it is for her to fuck you and then say, I'm better than your girl. It's a psychological win. Like, a lot of times girls will try to fuck you just because they want to be better than your girl, especially if she's like an established person, successful. It's absolutely crazy. That's why I don't recommend it. I like to keep things very private, right? And obviously a lot of people are like, oh, you're just trying to look single and stuff like that. Genuinely, no. My content on Instagram is like solely, I know you just use Instagram now. Like, that's like your main thing.
Yep.
And YouTube a little bit. You just started yours, right?
Yeah.
But I don't put out any content that's not like any of my relationship. It's all my business in a sense.
Totally. I've built my personal brand around showing a little bit more about who I am as a person. I will say, when I posted my ex-girlfriend, it was like, you have a couple of these girls that'll hit you up and try and do it, but overall, dude, the messages just diminish and they see that you have a girlfriend, you know? So there's going to be temptation no matter what you do, right?
Yes.
Whether you post a girl or you don't post a girl, I'm going to receive inbound messages. From my experience, when I had a girl and didn't post her, I was still receiving so many messages. When I posted her, it diminished to like those 10%. And dude, if I just told them like, yo, I understand, but like, I'm going to be good with my girl now, most of them fade away.
Yeah,
dude. And
100%.
so that's why I think it's much better than not posting at all, because you're going to consistently forever receive these messages.
I never, if I see a guy on a girl's page, I don't approach it anymore. Like, when I was younger,
Same.
yes,
Exactly.
I don't approach it whatsoever. I don't, because I remember years ago, I was that kid in the nightclub, talked to a girl, had a great conversation. We connected on a deep level. Like, yeah, like, let's get dinner tomorrow or something like that. She leaves with a dude with a Lambo. Like, you know what I mean? Or she drives off with a dude with a G-Wagon. I'm like, why? Like, he's 35 and I'm young and we're young. And like, I get so upset. Now I'm like my worst enemy. Now I've become almost what I've hated.
Yeah, right.
So now I like don't do it. Like, you see a young guy here, like from like Miami, like whatever it is, college, like it's so easy and it just like breaks my heart. I don't approach any girls that have guys in their photos, so I agree with you on that. But let me ask you this as well. With the girls that message you on Instagram, or your game on Instagram, what do you kind of lead with? I want to know this. You say you're very direct.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it always depends upon the conversation. I don't have like a set script at all. I'm very free flow with the way that I do everything in life. So, trying to think of the way that
That's probably it. Like that works. You probably just reply to a story.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if a girl messages me like the hard eyes or the fire emoji or this or and that, it depends on what the content is and what I said.
What if it's you just like your content today? You were posted up, I think, on your balcony or I don't even know what's a balcony or patio. I've been struggling with this, you know. But like even mine, I think
don't know.
This is something, right?
I call it El Balcón.
El Balcón. And you're posted up, shirtless. You're like talking about stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're answering questions a day.
Yeah. Oh, that, you know, you get the hard eyes and the fire emojis and all that shit or whatever. And, you know, if I want to reach out to the girl and she's hot, I just literally ask her, like, either you like that or, like, what's good or how's it going? It's a very, very simple opening. I don't, like, put much thought into...
You don't meet girls out at all anymore? Like, I mean, it happens, but it's not, like, your main thing?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think, like...
Because I like... Listen.
Sometimes.
This is the thing. You're probably... I don't know a lot of people in Miami. I genuinely don't. Like, Wade, you might think I'm like plugged in here.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people come into Miami.
Right.
I know a lot of people in town. I know a ton of girls out here and guys that are partying, but I don't know a lot of people that live here.
Yep.
So it's interesting to meet someone like you that doesn't go out, which is crazy. Yeah. Even the influencers that I know that talk about not going out, not partying, they go out and they party and they do stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name any names, but like they're not living... I don't want to say authentic to their client, like to their content. Like, there's nothing wrong in going out, but like, you know, they just don't. I like to stay in, you know. Yeah. And like, how do you like? How you don't meet any girls out anymore?
I mean, I do, but it seems to happen very like random
through friends
and organically. I mean, dude, if I see a girl on the street corner and I'm driving by in the car, I will stop and be like, yo, those pants look good with that shirt. I never ever say anything about a girl's physique or her face or the way she looks. I'll always comment on something that she chose, an accessory, a garment, a fucking something. And I also, dude, this should be studied, and I want somebody to actually study it because my friends are always blown away by how this happens. I don't actually know what I say, and I don't ever think about it. I think I have this genuine fascination for things in life that I like. Like, for example, I get into the elevator and I look up and it's like an Italian European model, blue eyes, fat ass, tan skin. I'm like, oh, nice. But I don't say anything. And I go over to my side of the elevator and I smell a little bit of, is that grape bubblicious gum that you're chewing? And I ask her that out loud. And she's like, yeah, how did you know that? And I was like, because I used to chew that shit as a kid. I'm like, what are you, a child? And she's just like, oh, like, I don't think about what I say. I'm just so genuine and authentic. And I'm like, you got any more gum? And she's like, no, it's back in my apartment. I'm not going to be a creep and be like, oh, should we go back to your apartment or something weird like that? I'm just like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, where are you from? And she's like, whatever. I grew up in Italy. I live here now. Okay, nice. I got 5 seconds to get this girl's Instagram. I'm like, okay, nice. You got Instagram? And that's it every single time. It's just like 1 or 2 things to make them feel slightly comfortable, or I'll get in the elevator and the girl will have on some like shoes and I'm like, yeah, I like those shoes. And she's like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking love the leopard print.
Because you're not leading with the same thing that a lot of guys lead. So that's one thing. And you also have like kind of like an aura about yourself where you're not thirsty. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed this.
I don't give a fuck. Dude, when I walk into the elevator, if I make a comment on her shit and she doesn't engage in the conversation, I wasn't hitting on you. I was just genuinely interested in your shit. It kind of looked nice.
When you comment on the body, the face, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you're gorgeous, you're this, it really doesn't work a lot of times because so many guys, if it's a good looking girl, first and foremost, she's been talked to a million times by a million dudes, and obviously it's still stacking, and there's like, oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. So I like your approach. It's different. That's the way I approach as well. I always talk about something or an idea or like your accent. Where is it from? Like where'd you get that watch from? I need to get one. I need a watch dealer. Can you like hook me up? Get me your discount. Like something stupid.
Totally.
So it works pretty well. And then you convert to Instagram.
I also sometimes, depending upon the situation, I will just say like this, excuse me, what's your name? Just like that. And they'll tell me the name and they'll be like, why? And depending upon how I feel, where I am, what the girl looks like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, no reason. Or I might be like, you look like someone I knew. Or I might be like, oh, I thought I knew you. And then she'll say, really? And I'll say, no, not at all. And then she'll be like, whoa, holy fuck, that just completely mind fucked me. Because all guys say, I thought I knew you.
I think I know you from somewhere.
And then she'll be like, really? And I'll be like, no, not at all. Like, no, you don't look familiar at all. I was just completely fucking with you.
I love it.
Just to get them going. And then always, like, as quickly as humanly possible, I'm just like, yo, you got Instagram? It's a very harmless way to connect. And then I get to see who they are through Instagram. If every fucking story is the thong, shaking their ass, twerking shit, immediate unfollow. You
don't even try to see, like, this is the thing I cut them off. Like, any girl I follow is someone that, like, works for me or is a friend, like a genuine, like, I've known her for years. Yeah. We're very close friends. She's helped me in my life. She's been my assistant or something like that. Like, this is a thing that I struggle with too. And it's not like I struggle with it too much, but I pretty much cast it away. If I see a girl that does too much stuff, especially like OnlyFans content, I don't even mess with her. I pull it away. If she's showing too much skin, I kind of compartmentalize her in a certain category that is just like hook up only.
Of course.
So you still lead with, do you still try to hook up with them? Or, because that's one thing that I'm very cautious about too. Even like these girls that look a certain way, they're on the gram, they're whatever, they're great for the hookup. They're wonderful for the hookup. But another thing is I'm inviting them in my space. They're in my bed. They're like, you exchange energy with every single person that you sleep with, And in the last 4 years, I've been so selective about the women that I've slept with and that I've been with, that because I know that I exchange that energy. So do you just completely cut them off? Like, I show you a girl, she looks good. She's got a couple photos like that. Would you say, okay, I'll put her for the hookup, or would you just completely throw her away?
Completely throw her away. There's like, if she wanted something very transactional and like she was that bad, yeah, of course, dude, I'm going to consider it. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I just don't want that shit in my life. You know what I mean? Like, and it's been a progression. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, it used to be like, yeah, fucking any girl that's hot, like I would be happy to fuck them. And dude, it just got to a point where like I just don't want to waste my time and energy. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around a girl that has this that doesn't have a connection, that has small-minded, low-level problems, and that's just selling her body.
Are you looking to get married now? I don't think anybody's ever asked you this.
Yeah, dude, I do want to get married. I mean, obviously, I want to find a girl and like develop a relationship, and it's a girl that I can trust and all that shit.
But I feel like it's easy though. Like genuinely, I've struggled with this myself. Like we can go overseas to Europe right now and find wives like ready.
I don't know where I'll find a wife or when, but I think
it could be here.
What I do know is that I have a little bit more work to do on myself with God. I know that I'm not going to go from the way that I handle women today and my current relationship with God to just finding a wife. I'm going to need to get to a position where I'm really more selective than I am today, right? Like I can't be giving any of my energy to a girl just because she's hot, right? And I still do that from time to time. Like if it's a girl,
is that your biggest? What's your biggest weakness right now?
Totally, yeah. It's the fucking BBLs, bro. You know what I mean?
BBLs.
Like, I love fucking.
You prefer the BBL without the?
Yeah, always. I can't do a flat ass, you know? Like I just cannot do it. If she has like a real fat natural ass, which a lot of the Latin girls do, I like it, but. That's just what I like, you know. It's what I became accustomed to, and I just like Latinas, you know.
There's a lot.
It's just what I like, you know.
In the spot.
I don't. Yeah.
They're here, man.
Yeah.
So that's your biggest vice. How do you feel like you're going to overcome it? Because women were almost always my biggest kryptonite.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of control over it in the last 3-4 years of my life.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I slept with a lot of women, like to an unhealthy degree. Like it was like you played sports, like you do anything that's you play sports or you're just out. Like honestly, me being like younger and just not having as much money, I was just around women. It was easier to sleep with them. Yep. Especially I went to a Big Ten college and it was just like, it's not even like a flex. Like it's just 2-3 women a day. Sometimes you can get it very easily. Yeah. So after a certain point, I was like, dude, like, every girl I've slept with, it's like they've not added a lot, like the majority of them, 99% of them have not added any value to my life whatsoever. It's like absolutely just a waste. I spent 2 hours talking to her at the bar. I spent another hour with the house. I wake up groggy. She's in my place. I'm not efficient. I'm entertaining her. I'm being nice. And it's like, it's just really bad. Then I got to the point where it's kind of crazy. This sounds bad. Like I'll hook up with them during the day. It's like a different hack that I had. And I was on that, like, because I don't have to sleep with you overnight and I don't have to like make it a thing. You know what I mean? Even though at night it's easier, if you got the game, like it's like, hey, look, I'm free from 3 to 5. Let's kick it.
I got a 7 to 9 window.
Yeah.
Bro, I just that's it.
It's a slot. Book it here.
That's it. There's no
Calendly link. Put it in
we
it.
Go to dinner at 8:30? Abso-fucking-lutely not. There's no chance. What about 8 o'clock? No. I take during the week. It's a 7 o'clock dinner reservation, and by the way, we're done by 9. Whatever's going on, maybe 9:30 at the latest, because I'm in bed at 10. Like it's not going to happen. And so I just became extremely strict with my time. But in general, I still know that I need to be way more selective. Like it is the number one thing that I need to work.
How are you going to do that?
More God. You know, like I really think that I need to get a service commitment at church. You know, I go to church every week, or when I'm here, I go every week. But I think I need to dig in at church a little bit more and start to like really renew my strength in God when it comes to women. No. I ask him every day, but I need to really put forth more effort in that.
Do you think moving out of Miami would help you?
That's never going to happen.
Never. You're going to be here forever.
Yeah, man, I fucking love it here. You know, this is the greatest
best city on earth
ever. Yeah, I mean, best city on earth. Best city on earth. But look, my friends that have been successful in relationships, they have imported wives. Like, and I don't mean they fucking mail order bride and shit. I mean, they met girls traveling in Europe or in California or other places and then brought them here.
A lot of people are imports here, theoretically.
Tainted, you know what I mean? Like, when a girl's been in Miami for too long, it becomes tough. You can't blame them. I don't blame them. Because, dude, here's what happens. You move to Miami and you got to meet a couple girls and find your little circle, and you meet the other cute girls that look like you. And what happens? They're like, oh, this rich guy invited us to go to his table tonight. We're going to go to this club. Am I going to say no? If I'm single and looking for a dude and I can go to some rich guy's table and like get free drinks and look cute and be around another sea of guys, of course I'm going to say yes.
100%.
Right? And so, okay. And then that happens. And then, hey, we get invited to Bob Zangrillo's party. during Art Basel, you want to go? Yeah, of course I'm going to go. And then we go there, and there's all these dudes with jets. And after the party, after Art Basel's over, they're like, yo, we're going to Bahamas, we're going to Mexico, we're going to Belize, we're going to wherever on my fucking private jet. Do you and your friends want to come? And no pressure, by the way, and I'm not like hitting on you and trying to fuck you. I just want hot girls around. What am I going to say? No. I just moved here from fucking Chicago, and I'm a 24-year-old smoke show, and I haven't experienced life in the way that I want to. Of course I'm going to do this. But, dude, this is a very slippery slope, because all of a sudden you get accustomed to this shit, and you start to think that that's real, and then you expect this shit.
And it's not realistically available.
And it's like...
anywhere in the world. Here in Brickell, like where I'm at right now, it's like a virtual playground. Like,
dude.
like, you know, I drive my G-Wagon around in Cleveland. Like, I got a murdered out G63. Everyone's like, yo, this is a nice car. It's like, I get compliments on it.
Yep.
Here, no one looks, bro.
Totally.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it raises the standard of what, but it also goes for guys too. Like, we see beautiful, beautiful, beautiful women every single day that are ready. The tourism rate is extremely high. It breaks my heart when I see girls come here. Like, one of my last relationships ended because she wanted to go to Miami for her birthday. Yeah. And I said, no, I don't want you to go with your friends that weren't good influences. Like, one of her friends was like a stripper. She had like 2 baby daddies and multiple kids. I was like, yo, she's not like a good person to be around. And she said no. And eventually she's dated a guy here. Like, that day she dated a guy here, yep. Which was what is probably meant to be, you know? But I see girls come here and I see them, dude, I'm sure you have too, just breaks my heart, honestly.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. You import a girl in a sense. But the one thing I'll say here is if they live in Miami, if they're around this, they still start to get... I know guys that do the whole passport bros thing. They meet a girl overseas, they find a girl, and they do the research. They vet her out. They come to the States, and these girls just become like the girls here. In fact, sometimes they become even more Americanized to a large degree where it can become worse.
You have to... This is why having a solid group and circle of friends with solid wives or girlfriends is really important, right? And so I'm in a position right now where, like, I have that. You know, my friends have wives and girls that all really have their head on straight, that haven't been affected by the Miami culture, and they've all lived here now for 4 or 5 years.
And they don't go out as much, or they don't?
My friend circle just doesn't go out. You know, we go to dinners, and like the rare occasion, maybe the tea room for like 30 minutes or an hour after, you know, after we finish at Gecko or Poppy or wherever, some nice dinner. But like, no, dude, for the most part, it's all like dinner and then whatever. Like, look, when we travel, I think if you can have a girl that's in the mindset of like, hey, if I need to like let off a little steam, instead of like, let's go to the club in Miami, it's like, when I travel, can we like go out after dinner? Sure. No fucking problem. It's a whole different thing, you know? Like, when you're in Europe or when you're traveling, like, that's the time to kind of cut loose and enjoy yourself. And so that's kind of how they all are, you know, all like when we're in Europe, yeah, we all go to the club and the girls love it and they get their fucking fun out and whatever. But it's not like going to a club in Miami. You know? Do
you go to Europe a lot? Like, is that like
in the summer, you know, I always just go in the summer.
So you're not here in the summer as much?
No, I'm here in the summer, but I like to go, you know, have a trip or two over there, you know, for a couple weeks at a time.
Before I end off, I want to do a little bit of like analysis on your coaching program, right? I want you to talk about like, what do you exactly offer for coaches so that people here know, like, what can I expect if I work with you?
Yeah. So I work with people to help them either start or scale their online coaching offer. So people that are in the first group are trying to start their online coaching offer. They've never coached online. They don't maybe have a personal brand. They don't have a lot of followers. They've never spoken to the camera. They don't know how to structure a coaching offer. So I help them with every single thing that they need, because I started this a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, I had never coached online. I had never done any online business. I had never created any content. I had never spoken to camera. I had 3,000 followers, and it was like surfing pictures. So I developed a blueprint over time of how to create content, how to structure my stories, my reels, how to set up my page, set up my coaching offer, everything that somebody needs to do to get started. So if somebody's just getting started, I help them with fucking everything. Literally, here's how to set up your page. Here's how to set up your posts. Here's how to post from a psychological level. Here's how to talk about your problems. Here's how to be vulnerable. Here's how you're going to practice. Here's the 5 pillars of mind, body, spirit, relationships, money, and what that's going to mean for your content. Here's how to find your avatar eventually, but tell your story first. Here's how to set up your coaching offer, manage your clients. Here's all the software, all the apps, every fucking thing that you need to be successful. Literally everything. And I give them feedback consistently. They get one-on-one access to me. So anytime they have questions, I literally hit them with video feedback through Instagram.
So you would reply, I send you a video. Hey, what's up, Wade? I'm having trouble with this. you send them a video back.
Always. You know, a lot of times they'll text me with like, hey, I'm really struggling to close this guy in the DMs. I'm like, dude, send me a screenshot. And then I'll either text them back or hit them with the video feedback. But if it's anything content related, I'm always hitting them with video feedback so that they can see how I'm holding my hands, my face, my tonality, everything. They can really get dynamic feedback.
How do you scale that offer? Because I know that you talked about doing one-on-one coaching for a period of time, and you couldn't get past 36 or 37 clients, something like that.
Exactly.
And how did you scale it to like more? Like, how is it the weekly calls or?
Yeah. So initially I was working with business owners in any arena. I had kids that had landscaping companies, IT, fitness trainers, all sorts of different shit. And I was doing 2 30-minute calls per month. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but an hour of my time with 37 clients that are in all different areas and stages of their business, personally and professionally, it was a lot. I just became like a full-time therapist type of consultant. And so I said, okay, I need to structure this out and I need to niche down a little bit. If 50% of the people that I'm working with want to create online coaching offers like I had done around fitness, mindset, and health. And so that's my focus, is helping them with that. So I have systems in place when they get one onboarding call, right? And so when I go through this onboarding call, I help them with the structure and everything that they need, but they also have all my course content in which I review in depth every single thing that I just talked about in terms of structure in order to scale sales, fucking everything. And then we have a weekly group call. And the weekly group call is really where all the sauce is shared, because they get to hear other questions, challenges, and wins from other coaches that are online. And a lot of times they all have the same or similar type of question that someone else is going to get benefit from.
Are your group calls like open-ended? Like, what's up, guys? Hey, ask questions.
I always start off with one thing that one of my clients asked me throughout the week that I think was valuable to me throughout my journey. So if one of my clients throughout the week is like, hey man, I'm just really struggling to go deep on my content and be vulnerable, and I think that that's a good lesson for everybody that week, I always start off with 10 minutes of like, all right guys, here's something that I found very useful, whether it's like a sales script or vulnerability or psychology or speaking more succinctly, whatever it is. So I start off with that, and then I open it up for Q&A, and I just let them, really cut loose. They really also, outside of just the structure of coaching and how to build that, I help them build a personal brand. And I mean a real, genuine personal brand. Like, my personal brand is very deep because I was very vulnerable. And so I can pivot any fucking day of the week. If I wanted to create a different offer, anything around mindset, health, fitness, spirituality, sales, business, I can change my offer immediately because I cover all of those pillars all the time. And so I help them make sure that they're developing their personal brand on a very holistic level and living that life, right? I always tell them, guys, if you're going to coach online, you need to be able to solve your own problems. You need to constantly identify what are the problems and live in the solution, and then show people that solution. So it's like a way that they can be a better person. Then my mindset program is where I help people actually dial in their workout, their nutrition, their habits, and all this shit.
These are 2 separate coaching communities.
Two separate, right?
Okay.
Now, every client that I teach to coach online gets full access to my 1% protocol program, the mindset, fitness, nutrition, all that shit. They have to be on that protocol. If they're going to coach and they're not dialed in one of those areas, they're just fucking missing out. They're teaching the 1% protocol, which is like consistent morning routine, the right habits, discipline, fitness, nutrition, and whatever else they want to do.
Mm-hmm. No, I love it, man. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Everybody, Wade Houston, at Wade Houston on Instagram, and your YouTube is also at Wade Houston.
Exactly. You got it.
My guy. That's good.